And then you go to Demons, which is legitimately, I think, the worst produced track on this entire fucking album.
I'm so with you. I think that song, production-wise, one of my least favorite I've heard in such a long time.
In a long time, bro.
And
in a long time.
It's like also generic on top of that.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is another episode of Album Mode. We review a new album every single week. We look at the lyrics, the production, the overall aesthetic of the album, and how that album fits into the context of that artist's career. All my beautiful people on YouTube seeing this video, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Working our way to 5,000 subscribers. My name is Adriel Smiley, a.k.a. AdrielSmiley.com, a.k.a. Adriel Smiley Official, a.k.a. The Godfather, and we are here with His Royal Highness, a.k.a. The Bunny, King Grant.
What's happening, people? I didn't bring the new jeans.
So we're taking that back.
Bunny back.
not the bunny today.
No, I didn't bring it today. I did bring, I think it was like the Natural Habitat Stories plushie. I think there's only like 2,800 of them.
Okay.
And I have one of them. Right. But yeah, so we're back. We're also back with our producer, Chris, aka Agent Zero, and we are talking about the famous or infamous Doja Cat, whichever one you feel like.
It depends who you ask.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask. It's Doja Cat with her new album, Scarlet. One of those albums that I would say, I don't know if it's highly anticipated, but
I would say it was
extremely visible.
Yes.
Okay. And it's one of those where it's been in our face from the jump. Holy fuck. I cannot like Doja Cat has been on one this entire album cycle, which it has been an album cycle. But I'm just happy that it's out now, so I don't have to hear from Doja Cat anymore. I don't want to hear it.
Coming out the gate with the shade.
I'm over it. I'm over the Doja Cat social media experience, personally.
Do you follow Doja Cat?
You know what? I don't even know anymore because it got to a point where I'm like, I need to be away from this. Like I just can't deal with it anymore. But I am I've seen everything that came with this album cycle for sure. I came from the jump, from when she shaved her hair, when she got the new tattoos, and when she dyed the hair, everything. Okay, I've seen everything.
You're tired of it.
I've seen everything. But I'm just like I'm over it. I'm over it, which is kind of rare for me. I'm usually not like that person unless it's like 6ix9ine or something.
Yeah, that's interesting here. I think that's a good place to start. Because the last album cycle we had with Doja Cat, it was a lot of Doja Cat. Doja Cat everywhere all the time. Planet Her, one of the biggest albums of 2021, and Doja Cat is really one of those artists who blew up during the pandemic. She was a big artist beforehand. She had some big singles, but Doja Cat before the pandemic and Doja Cat after the pandemic is two different Dojas.
Yeah, remember when The Weeknd was originally going to do his concert tour for After Hours, she was the opening act. She was going
Crazy,
to be
I forgot about that.
She was going to be the opening act for The Weeknd's After Hours. Doja Cat's not opening for anybody anymore. Doja Cat is the act now.
and she says so.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because this album, no features. If you look at Doja Cat 2 albums ago at Hot Pink, the features are Smino, Gucci Mane, and Tyga. Very different from what we've come to see from her, going from Ariana Grande and SZA.
Yeah.
From Tyga and Gucci Mane. But she has become one of the biggest female rappers over the past 3 or 4 years. And her name has been left out of a lot of the conversations. When we talk about Meg, Nicki, Cardi, Doja Cat has been over here on the right side.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. I think she's a rapper just like they're rappers.
I agree.
She dips into pop like how they dip into pop.
I agree.
But that is just something I want to mention off the top because as much as she's as successful as those other 3, even more than some of them, she's been put on this, section on the right side. You said you weren't really excited about this project. You're tired of seeing Doja Cat. I want to talk a little bit about that and kind of how it relates to her music because, in 2023, at the beginning of the year, she went on Twitter and was talking bad about her older songs.
Yeah.
She mentioned Hot Pink and Planet Her. And this is a direct quote from her talking about that music. She said, I also agree with everyone who said the majority of my rap verses are mid and corny. I know they are. I wasn't trying to prove anything. I just enjoy making music, but I'm getting tired of hearing y'all say that I can't, so I will. Mm-hmm. That leads us to where we are now.
Yeah.
She mentioned this being a straight rap album. It would be just raps. And there was all these jokes online about it's going to be Doja Cat rapping over Alchemist beats, or Doja Cat is going to be the new member of Griselda.
Yeah, it was a little bit. That wasn't incorrect, though. There's some songs that are like that, though.
She does get into that bag a little bit, but...
The Alchemist, not Griselda. More Alchemist, Madlib.
Yes. And I think, the thing about what that meant to you before you heard the project, when Doja Cat says, I'm going rap, way less pop, it's going to be a rap album. What were you expecting when you kind of heard her say that?
Well, I definitely felt like it would sound different than her, like Planet Her, because Planet Her, I would say, Doja Cat currently, excluding this album, I would consider a pop rapper.
100%.
He's like a Ludacris,
like Jack Harlow,
like a Drake, like a Jack Harlow, et cetera, right? So when she said she's gonna do straight rap, I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. I think that if you listen to Purr and Amelia before, yeah, throwback. But if you listen to those, you already were aware that the skill existed.
Yes.
Right? Yes. But when you listen to Hot Pink and Planet Her, you're like, there's a divorce between strictly being a rapper and, like her explosion, right? And I think that she personally is having a little bit of a internal struggle with that. So when it was basically like, oh yeah, it's gonna be just like a rap album, I'm like, okay, so we're kind of returning to the original form.
We thought.
Right? And we thought, I guess. I mean, I think when it came to me, I'm like, okay, I guess we're going back to Amelia/Purr. I don't really think that's the best version of her. So I was already quizzical of that decision.
Yeah.
But I would, for me at least, I was like, okay, so we're actually going back. But this is the back before everybody knew who she was. Like,
yes.
I have a couple of people who are like love Doja Cat, really into Doja Cat.
Yeah.
One of them who I remember when Planet Her came out, she said, not really on this new shit.
Wow.
Right? And she was basically explaining to me that she was more into the rapper version of Doja Cat, and like the new pop stuff she was not really a big fan of. And then I have another friend who is really into Doja Cat who just, it's anything that Doja Cat drops, it's
sign me up.
Yeah, right. So there is like, even that duality still exists, even within the fan base.
Yep.
Right. So that's where I was. I'm like, we're going back to rap. I guess. I don't know if it's the best version of you. But then there's some people who are like, yes, the rap, let's do it. And then there's still some people who are like, whatever it is, let's do it. So I don't know. I feel like she exists in the middle of that division, actually. And she's trying to corral everybody into one pen, but it's kind of a little bit of a difficulty.
I think I was more on the side of wanting the rap Doja.
Really?
That's where I first heard of Doja. Like when some of these songs on Planet Her, I promise you, I did not know they were Doja Cat until I heard the song a couple times, because that's not the sound that I think of when I think Doja Cat. Planet Her, I think now is probably, even after this project, Planet Her is like the Doja Cat album that will last a long time. But when I thought of Doja before that, that's not what I thought of. So I wanted to hear more of the raps. I think a part of that is what I mentioned before of we don't put her in the conversation with Cardi and Meg and Nicki. She's almost not in the conversation at all. And I think that's because of some of her biggest songs not being on that rap side. Yeah. I think about a song like Savage. I mean, Savage is not a serious song. It's a rap song.
That's a big rap song.
It's a rap song. So I think Doja has not had as many big rap songs. And maybe I would say this album changed that when you talk about the singles. Paint the Town Red and Demons. Paint the Town Red. As a single, I thought that was so interesting because she's actually addressing, almost everything that's happened over the past year with the Twitter stuff and, the backlash, her shaving her head. When was the last time we have seen like an artist this big make their single a song that addresses so much? She addresses it more on the rest of the project, but I thought as a single, that was a bold move and it was kind of, emblematic of the kind of star she is because everyone took that for granted. It was a huge song, almost 300 million streams on Spotify right now. But I think the fact that, her lead single for this new album, after she shat on her old music, shat on her old stuff, is addressing all of that. When's the last time we've seen that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like maybe, I don't know. I can't really
The closest I can think of is when Big Sean dropped no interviews leading up to a project and talking about the him and Kendrick stuff. But that didn't end up being on the album.
Was that pre or post Control?
That was post Control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was him. That was when him and Kendrick were taking shots every song, and I was just like, "We get it, we get it."
It's getting a little bit too close.
Control
to the
was a moment. We get it.
It was though. What's so crazy about Control? You can't find it anywhere.
I know, which is wild.
But it's such a huge cultural moment for hip hop fans. Where it's like, oh, where were you when you heard Control and stuff like that? But not on streaming.
Yeah, you got to go to SoundCloud.
Yeah, right. And it's not on any album either.
No,
like it's just
it was never on an album. To be fair, it was a Lucy.
No, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
but the fact that it's gone.
Yeah, it's just in the ether.
Crazy.
We all know it, but it's just in the ether. Yeah, there isn't really another. So there's Big Sean, but I can't really think of anybody else. Really, I think that most, especially hip hop artists right now, they kind of don't disavow their previous work to this extent. To the extent where she was like, it was pop garbage. Here's the real music.
And in the recent past, I think people have done that with like their first album when they're on their 8th album, or one album that they tried something different when they're 4 albums removed. This was her last album. Like her biggest album. That I think is pretty unique.
Yeah. So Doja Cat, I feel like always kind of in her own lane. I don't think anybody's really approaching what she's doing. Men or women, actually.
No, she's on her own.
Yeah, and she's extremely successful in it. So that's why it's like weird to me. Like, you're kind of just doing your own thing. I don't understand. She's like, it's almost like these like invisible voices, right? Letters like talking about her. I'm like, I haven't met a single person who was like, oh yeah, Doja Cat trash.
No, nobody.
Like I've never met somebody who was like that, or like, Doja Cat, that's not real rap. Like, I don't think nobody really is saying stuff like that. So it's just like a weird sentiment that she has.
Démar, to be fair, you're the culprit. You started this podcast talking about, I'm tired of hearing about Doja Cat. Tired of seeing Doja Cat.
No, here's the thing.
But listen, all those things are overshadowing the music.
Yeah.
And so you just mentioned how great she is as a musician and how people love her music.
Yeah.
That's being overshadowed by all the other things.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm talking about when I'm tired of Doja Cat. I'm tired
of seeing her.
No, that's not even it. I think the promo for this was exhausting. Right? Doja Cat just like existing.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. Okay?
Anything more than that?
But more when she's going to this like shave everything off, doing all like she's doing like the Playboy Cardi emojis and stuff like that. Crazy, she has this massive tattoo on her. I think it's her back or her sternum.
Yep.
Right. Massive, like it's like a bat or a dragon, skeletal dragon or a bat.
Some kind of wings.
Cool, I guess, but like it's just incessant. During this promotion, and it was like aggravating. It was aggravating. So it's not like Doja Cat just like as she exists, everything that she was doing before. I loved Moo when it came out. I thought it was hilarious.
Big throwback.
I love, I love Planet. I have the vinyl for Planet Her, bro. So I'm like, I'm in.
Yes.
Okay. This extra shit, not worth it. Like it's not even worth it. Like this, album is not even gonna sell that much. We saw the projected sales for it was at $50K, right? You and I were expecting double
that. Yeah. I got some stats on that as well,
right? We were expecting double, so that's kind of it when it comes to Doja Cat. Where I'm just like, you're kind of like this extra shit is not necessary, not worth it, not necessary. All of this, what you were doing before was fantastic. Everybody loved it except for you, I guess.
I
But
guess.
everybody else was loving it, bro. Like Kiss Me More. Who didn't like Kiss Me More?
Yeah,
Who didn't like Woman? Like,
I think she's kind of entering a new stage in her career, or at least she wants to.
yeah,
Where the music will take headlines. I think that those songs, the music was the forefront. It was like obviously great visuals, great performances at award shows and things like that. But the music itself was all over, and that spoke for itself. I think
that's what you want as an artist,
and that's what you want.
Yeah,
I think this album cycle, whatever happened in between, took away from that, and I think that was hard for her to handle. And you just kind of saw that in the things that happened afterwards. But I feel like her music is good enough for it to be the forefront of a lot of things. You talked about projections, and I saw this. This was someone mentioned this on our TikTok, not even about Doja, talking about Lil Tecca versus Olivia Rodrigo. I saw some stats. Yeah,
is that a real thing?
Whoever that is in our comments on our album on TikTok,
shout out to you.
You know who you are.
Well, what are you talking about? I mean, you know what? I was actually watching Lil Tecca YouTube videos yesterday. So this guy is.
So you're part of the problem.
Ransom Genius videos, hilarious.
Hip Hop by the Numbers, one of our favorite Twitter accounts, put up Doja Cat numbers against Lil Tecca numbers for this week. She's projected at 50 to 55K. Lil Tecca 30 to 35K. But the part I thought was interesting was they had a percentage compared to their last project.
Yeah.
Lil Tecca is up 16% from his last project. Doja is down 49%.
Yeah.
And that's a huge percentage, no matter who you are. Someone like Doja who's, so big, that's a huge drop, but 49% at any point is rough. And especially when her last album kind of grew on us. It wasn't like the day it dropped, it was as big as it was. Like,
that's true.
After some months passed and those songs really, really marinated, that's when Doja really grew as a star. But this was kind of her chance to kind of cash in on that. Because her first week numbers last year probably could have been much bigger considering she had a couple songs that had 1 billion streams on that project. So to see how low this is, I think more people are with you about, not liking the antics, the lead up to the album. One last thing before we get to production. I do think that there may be something else going on here because I've seen a couple of things about Paint the Town Red and Demons breaking streaming records.
Yeah.
I know they've changed it where the streams before the project are included on the project. Doja right now is at 73 million Spotify listeners.
Yep.
I feel like it's very hard for you to be that popular and just have this few people listen to your project. So I don't know if this is some, farming with the numbers or something against Doja. We'll see who complains a week from now about a conspiracy. But I would not be surprised if we hear 2 weeks from now that these are not the correct numbers and it is somehow different than this.
Yeah.
Because,
I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Also, we live in an era of hip hop where it's everybody is us against the machine. Nothing is the truth. Don't believe everything. It's just all the bullshit, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if she and she's definitely the type of person to say like, oh, they didn't count this or they didn't count that, or it's because of the bundles. That's why this person. I don't even have to fully articulate the idea for you to know exactly what I'm talking about. She's gonna be on some stupid shit.
She's ranked Twitter, 9th worldwide in monthly listeners. This would have to be the lowest someone who's that high on the list has ever sold in their first week. So just want to highlight that.
But I will also say, on the timeline and with other people in my life that love Doja Cat, it's not that hot. Like, it's not that hot. The album is not that hot. I can tell you. Damn. That's just the temperature check.
Temperature check.
Right?
Temperature check.
Because I do a little, I have people, luckily in my life, I'm surrounded by people who like music.
Yes.
Right? So I can temperature check,
Yeah.
When it's a big album.
That's part of our research. Okay? Yeah. That's part of the research.
Yeah. And there's a lot of Doja people in my life. And there are some people were like, it's good to lukewarm. Like, right? So I'm like, so I was already at the point where, okay, I don't think that I don't think it's gonna sell well. I don't think it's gonna stream a ton, right? But now when I'm listening to it, right, I'm getting a taste of the of Scarlet, of the Doja Cat experience.
Mhm.
I could see why this is happening, especially production wise, because we're getting into a state of well, first of all, I feel like comparing this to the previous two albums, like the soundscape of like what Doja's music sound like is just like all over the place now.
So different.
It's all over the place. It's much more low key, and it's also just more muted than anything else. And I don't know if that works for her. I don't know if that works for like what she tries to do on her music versus, you know, the previous two albums.
I think we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out because, you know, she has this line in here where she talks about, I'm not opening for anybody. She talked about her opening for The Weeknd.
Yeah.
It was supposed to open for The Weeknd a few years ago.
Yeah, before the pandemic, that was going to be.
I remember that. That was supposed to be a thing.
You know how crazy that would have been? Doja Cat Weeknd back to back?
No, I had a friend who wanted to buy tickets just for Doja. She was like, I don't care about The Weeknd. I'll go just for Doja. But she's a stadium artist at this point. That's the level she is in terms of popularity. This is not a stadium production album.
Yeah.
I don't hear all these songs and hearing these go up in an arena.
Right.
You know, two things off the bat. Walk On By, the sample she used on Paint the Town Red. Probably the most popular song using that sample.
Yeah. Also, yeah. I was thinking about the Logic.
The Logic one too.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Not even close. I think it's just been in our lives longer.
And it feels like Logic always plays that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think that the production. So let's get into the nitty gritty of the production, bro. I think that the dedication to it becoming a hip hop album is there, specifically.
Okay.
Whether or not, but the thing is, she doesn't have a dedicated hip hop sound. Like, for example, if like Drake was making a hip hop album, you would know what that actually sounds like.
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of 4 p.m.s in Calabasas.
Right? Exactly.
6 p.m.s in New York.
Exactly. Right? Doja Cat doesn't really have, or same thing with like, you know, your big three, or even Lil Uzi Vert, 21 Savage. Like, there's a definitive hip hop sound that they have.
She doesn't have that.
She doesn't have that. Right? So when you're going through the track list, you go from Paint the Town Red, whereas the Walk On By, and then you go to Demons, which is legitimately, I think, the worst produced track on this entire fucking album.
I'm so with you. I think that song, production-wise, one of my least favorite I've heard in such a long time.
In a long time, bro.
And
in a long time.
It's like also generic on top of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, she has so much beats on here that's like, they're very, very generic, where like, insert any artist of the past 8 years, and this is like on their album.
But Demons particularly, when I listened to this, I mean, I wrote in my notes, I'm like, this sounds like, you know, bad circus music, bro. Like, I'm getting like the circus horns and stuff like that, and I'm just like,
circus music gone urban.
It hurts physically. And her rapping in that space, I mean, we're not friends, we are foes. Like, something this and like, what are those? Like, oh my god, like, it's like that one is just I legitimately think that might be her worst song like ever.
Yeah. And the fact that was a single is pretty wild. This album reminded me a lot, and I think this is what is probably happening with her. Is like she's having her Jackman moment.
No,
like
she thinks she is though.
She thinks
because Jackman's actually good. Jackman's actually good.
Flip the table. She's having her Jackman moment.
Yeah,
but a lot of these songs, I think about something like Ouchies, and Ouchies. I'm assuming it's Ouchies.
I think it's Ouchies.
But that song reminds me of a production style that you would have heard in Step Up, or You Got Served.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Right, and
it's like, this is a breakdance scene, guys.
100%. This is a breakdance scene with the
people just the whitest people you've ever seen in your life just start popping and locking and be like, wait, did you guys get lessons from the Jabberwockies? What's happening here?
Some white dude in baggy pants is gonna do a front flip.
Or the Hayden Panettiere, all of a sudden she now knows how to do like the Millie Rock. Like, all of a sudden. That's what
Ouchies is.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, it's generic, but again, generic from a past time. You don't really make beats like this anymore. But for someone like Doja Cat, who I think vocally and performance wise is very unique in some of her styles.
Yes, I agree.
Why are you having this generic ass beat?
No
like,
idea.
we don't need this. But I have a couple that I like.
Me too. Like, it's not, see, I think we're already started, like, it's not trash.
It's not trash.
It's not trash.
It's not trash.
But I'm going to be keeping 1,000 with you. It's not very good either. It's very, like, there's some good parts.
Yeah.
So let's go hit him with some good parts at least.
I want to give my first, because I think this album is almost in two halves. I think the second half of this album is basically a different album than the first half. And I think that what I've gathered from this album off the how many times I've listened to it, I think the second half of this project is the album she wanted to make. And the first half is kind of more, let me at least serve some people and have this still be playlistable. Because I think a song like FTG, Fuck the Girls.
Yep.
The drums on that, I like a lot. But this is almost like, it's very similar to a lot of old Nicki records in that 2013, 2016 periods.
I was even thinking of like 2018. A lot of this music is like 2018 J. Cole, Rich Brian. But I love Rich Brian.
Yeah.
But it's old, right? What we're talking about is this is 6 years. It's going to be 6 years old. Bro.
Yeah. The FTG is definitely the older sound.
Like that's like a Forest Hills Drive type of
100% with the shake too.
Yeah.
So that one, I like the drums on that, but even with that, it's like this is definitely an older production. And why I think that's important too is because we talk about it all the time of artists growing with their fan base.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Doja is around our age.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for sure, as you get bigger and become a bigger artist, sometimes your fan base can skew younger. But people who are there from the beginning, like us, that's a sound we're accustomed to.
Yeah, we've seen this coming.
You know, so there is something there. Agora Hills.
That's her probably the best song.
No, I agree. Best song on here.
Yeah.
That could be on the American version of the PS1 playlist.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. If we did like an American version of the PS1 playlist, I think that could be on there.
Okay. I see what you're talking about.
Can't Wait. I think
I like that one too.
Can't Wait would be the single maybe 2 albums from now. I think Doja is still in between the rap Doja, in between the Planet Her Doja. Can't Wait is like what the future Doja's like lead single will be, I think.
Yeah, I think when I listen to Can't Wait, and there's another song that's like this where I feel like she is really leaning into her old school hip hop, Joey Badass type of boom bap, which is workable, right? I do think that Can't Wait is probably the best version of that for her, because she is able to use her singing, like the vocals, like kind of like introduce the song and stuff like that, and that's, you know, boom bap is really like skeletal in its type of production where it's like, it's very much like the template, or not like, it's like, this is like the stage, and then you're going to rap on it, right?
100%.
But with her singing, it brings in an extra, like, you know, there would probably be like a light on the stage, right?
Yes.
So there's like multiple lights on the stage, so it adds an extra bit of texture, basically, to the song. And that's probably like the best version of her boom bap, where she can still do some singing, still has some gang vocals or some harmonizing or something like that. There's extra elements to it that most boom bap not gonna have that shit.
No,
Joey Badass is not singing on his tracks, and
well, he's singing, but not like this.
Not like this. And you know, if you're pulling up some Tribe, it's not gonna sound like this, right? So I think that is really good, right? It's still boom bap, but it's distinctly her. The singing makes it distinctly hers, and her, like, the way that she sings, where it's like it's a really high pitched voice, is distinctly hers, right? So I would say that is probably the best version of rap Doja Cat. I think is that track.
I think there's something there. And you know, we mentioned before about this not necessarily being stadium music. Can't Wait is a song I think of because Can't Wait is one of the best songs on this project easily. I know compare it to that Vince Staples song that we love, that I always can't remember the name of.
Which one? Which album?
The one from the last album, Ramona Park Broke My Heart.
Oh, Ramona.
You know the one I'm talking about.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Oh my goodness.
The one with the gun?
The one with the gun, yes.
I can't remember the name of it though.
It's such a good song, and I can't. When Sparks Fly. There
When
we
Sparks
go.
Fly, yeah.
This is like her When Sparks Fly. But Vince Staples is not a stadium artist.
Yeah.
You know, When Sparks Fly is not going off, you know, in the Air Canada Center.
Yeah, it's going off in your bedroom though.
You know?
You're like, oh,
and
wow.
Can't Wait is along those lines. It's like Can't Wait is a really good song.
Yeah.
Musically, it's so full. There's so much more texture to it than a lot of the songs on this project.
Mhm.
But Can't Wait in a stadium after she just played, you know, one of the songs from Planet Her. A little bit of a different vibe.
Yeah, that's maybe her like last track where like everybody's like, you know, getting ready to
last song of the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like her Chris Brown With You.
Mhm.
So I think she's figuring herself out in that sense where Can't Wait, when the best song's on here,
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't fit what Doja's been doing the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You talked about a lot of old sounds on here.
Yeah.
My last 2 notes, it's funny, my notes were like, are going kind of by year. I have the PS1 note, then I have You Got Served. And then next I have Often
Mhm.
is if Doja Cat was one of the Soulquarians. Like that
Wow.
is
Okay.
That's we'll go a whole other decade.
What a pull.
Yeah. It is like this really gives me like, you know, late 90s Erykah Badu vibes.
Yeah. Do you think that works for her though? Do you think it works? Like, how do you feel about that song particularly? Because I actually did note that one. I'm like,
Here's the
how do you feel? I want to hear how you feel about it first.
I like it, especially in the flow of the project. I think it's you know, fits in well where it is. But I think that this works because when I hear her on this, it's not the same thing we had last year with Olivia Rodrigo, where some of her ballads, I'm kind of like, let's get someone else.
Yeah.
You know, I love your lyrics, but
Yeah.
you know, Doja Cat, I don't have that feeling. This to me sounds like it could be a Sid song. And if Sid did this song, we would all love it. You know?
Right.
So I think it's like she's a prisoner of being Doja Cat at this time. Where it's
agree.
like, again, if someone had no idea who Doja Cat was, you know, no context, and heard this song, love it. You know? And for me, I think that works because when you're someone as big as Doja, you don't get as many opportunities to have a song like this where it almost hits in a vacuum. You know, and the only drawback is that you're you.
Yeah.
But other than you being you, this song bangs. That's so to me, Often, again, one of the better. That's why I say I love the second half because Agora Hills, Can't Wait, Often.
Yeah, those are good tracks.
All back to back. And this is, I think, is the better version of Doja.
Balut is good too.
Yep.
Balut comes at the end. Sorry. I think so. What you were saying about this track, I think that when it comes to Often, I agree. I'm like, what else is? I'm like, it's like an Erykah Badu track, maybe even like a Cleo Soul type vibe. But when I listen to it, I'm like, it's not believable because it's the Doja Cat antics leading up to this shit.
Yep.
Like everything that the songs have been about, whether or not there's a couple of love songs, kind of a couple of sex songs, a couple of songs just like I don't give a fuck about the haters. For all of that, and now we're coming to Often where it's like slow down everything. Bring the singing. It's mostly singing. There's very little rapping in it, even though this is supposed to be her rap album. But okay, it's like
Lauryn Hill style.
Yeah. So I think that it sounds good, but I don't believe it. Like I'm not like it's the wrong salesman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I would get a vacuum, but like I could use a vacuum right now,
but not from Doja.
But not from Doja Cat.
This is where I think it works because I think like not every fan is gonna have that issue. The way you came into this podcast already upset with her, and I think like that's something I think you as a music fan, you know, the same thing happened with No Name. Her politics kind of affected her music.
Yeah,
and so it's like listen, R. Kelly is still streaming like nobody's business. Yeah, Chris Brown is still selling out arenas. Yeah, most music fans are not gonna have that problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Most music fans are not going to have that problem. So for that reason, I think it works because if the music is good enough, like, and this is something I had to learn over the past 5-6 years. I always used to assume every music listener is like me, getting the metadata of each song, downloading songs that's not on streaming. As I get older, I realize there's so many different types of music fans, and there's a lot of music fans that don't even know who makes these songs.
True.
They just hear a song and go, ooh.
That's cool, yeah.
You know, and these could be the biggest song, #1 for weeks.
Yeah.
I remember when Old Town Road was at its peak. I was on a cruise and I heard a whole group of people, 10, 12 people saying, who sings this song? I always hear it. It's so good. At the peak of Old Town Road. So I think, because of something like that, people may not even know this is Doja Cat because it's so different from what they're used to hearing from her. and we'll just hear it and be like, oh my God, that's on my playlist. I like this.
Yeah.
And so, something that stands like that, I think really, really is helpful.
Yeah, it'll playlist well.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to playlist well because you're going to be able to throw it in the Neo Soul playlist.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put it in your Erykah Badu playlist.
Yeah.
Cleo, like all those people we were talking about. It's going to jump in there and be like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Doja Cat made this? Same thing with Balut.
Yep.
Right?
Balu's like that too.
I think that it can just sneak into a playlist where you're like, hey, hold on a second. I didn't know Doja Cat could make a song like that. So overall, I think for our artistry, it's good.
Yes.
That she can make a song like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the window dressing of everything else fucking up the track. It's fucking up the song, bro.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna go. We talked about this with Yachty when his album came out. I wonder how this is gonna go, kind of the post-release press.
Yeah.
And if she's gonna stray from that. Because I think that although this album's not great, there are a lot of songs on here that I think would benefit from her keeping her mouth shut.
Yeah.
So,
we're not as if it were just everything was not out there completely.
And like Balut, I think is probably the one song on here that, not the one song, but the song, even more than Agora Hills, that you can show to someone who's a hip hop fan.
Yes.
Like if there's a hip hop fan and they're like, those don't really rap like that. Balut is one of those songs you can show them and they'll be like, okay,
yeah, I'll
give her
That's
a shot.
Dude you're trying to convince, by the way, because like women already know that this is a thing for her. Like,
I don't know if you've heard women talk about like the top female rappers.
Yeah.
Doja does not get mentioned.
Oh, really?
So she still has a lot of crap to make.
I'm like, the women I'm talking to are like, they recognize her ability. They're not like Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj level, but the recognition of ability is there.
For sure, bro. How popular she is, she should be right in that conversation of one of the best. And my last notes for production is Love Life. Love Life is basically a soul record.
Yeah.
Like that. When I heard Love Life, I was like, okay, this ain't no rap album. This is
see what I'm saying? Like, what's going on?
That's why I said Lauryn Hill type, because Lauryn Hill, her one solo album is not really a rap album. Talk about her as one of the greatest female rappers. But this is like, once you get to Love Life,
you already know my controversial opinion about Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
Lauryn Hill?
Whole other podcast.
Lauryn Hill top 50? I don't know. I don't know. Lauryn Hill's top 50.
Oh, that's I'm gonna leave that one alone. I love Lauryn Hill.
I love Lauryn Hill too, but you go ahead.
Love Life is basically a soul record. It again is that slow pace, similar to music from like the internet, Free Nationals, that kind of energy. And it's like, I don't think people think of this when they think of Doja Cat, And I think that there's opportunity here in a sense. Like this sound at the end of the project, Balut, Can't Wait, Agora Hills, there's a whole part of the internet that wants that, you know? And that those artists can kind of live in perpetuity off of that sound. So I think something, but this goes back to last week, talked about Liv Rodrigo. How many people know Liv Rodrigo is making that punk music? You know, there's some people who will probably never even think she's doing that and just think of her as this pop princess, not knowing she has some hardcore songs. Yeah. Doja is here on the same vein. I think Planet Her has really, I guess, diluted her fan base in the sense of like, they know her for this one thing, think she's this one thing all the time, when it's like, this album doesn't have a need to know.
Yeah, that's true.
This album doesn't have a woman. Yeah. But songs like Love Life, Balut, quality of the music, it's a different energy. Different energy, different tone, but there's still good music here. So I'm interested to see how that goes going forward, because I didn't mention no songs from that first half.
Yeah.
There's probably
the first half is the first half is like, I don't know, Demons is again, not very good. Wet Vagina.
Wet Vagina is not for me.
Yeah.
That's a crazy sentence. Oh,
I don't even know if we're going to keep that one in. I don't know if I'm keeping that.
You have to keep that one in.
I think that track is not very good too. And I think that Fuck the Girls, I'm not a big fan of either. Yeah. So that's like 3 songs in a row from the top. I'm already... we're already fighting an uphill battle. Yeah. It isn't until
97 is probably the one. And it's like a song 6.
Yeah. So we're fighting an uphill battle. I think there's how many songs? 16? 17 songs. So that's about what one third.
Mm-hmm.
We're already like, I don't know if I can do this, you know. So if you're already going one third of your album where, I would say it's rough.
Rough.
I would say it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Is a difficulty, and then when you get to 97, then you're like, okay, now we're getting into things, but it's again more of like a traditional boom bap style of hip hop. So I don't know. It's a weird sequencing. Sequencing is not good. And I also
I would disagree with that, but go ahead.
well, I would say the best songs are at the end. So the sequencing is not good.
You know, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
We're talking about
not everyone's gonna make it that far.
Yeah, exactly. Most people are not gonna make it that far.
Yeah, you're right.
Right, and then you think about the singles. The singles are at the top, right? Demons and Paint the Town Red. This is song 1 and 2, right? And then Attention is near the bottom.
Yeah.
So the sequencing, I would say the sequencing is not very good. And then also when it comes to the point of her vocals, like the singing vocals, it goes from Often, Love Life, Skull Bones, and Attention. It gets one note on the singing, bro. Like it gets to a point where I have to stop it. Where I'm like, because it's getting annoying.
It's that whisper singing.
Yeah, it's not on per song basis.
Yeah,
it's working.
But all
in succession, I need it to stop. Right, so that's also a little bit of a problem too. So that's how I feel about the production and sequencing and all that stuff. I feel like it's not terrible. I mean, Demons is a disaster, but I think there are definitely spots like 97, Agora Hills, Shutcho. We didn't even really talk about Shutcho, but that's one of my favorite ones too. So there's good and there's bad, right?
Yeah.
But I would say on the previous two works, it was good as fuck, like all the way through.
I think her main issue is just that these songs are so close to the bottom. I think this, from Shutcho all the way basically to Balut.
Yeah,
that's from 9 to 6.
Yeah,
that's basically its own project in itself.
Yeah.
But you add that, and maybe you say you keep 97, maybe you keep Gun, maybe you keep Paint the Town Red.
Yeah,
that's a 12-song album that is really good.
Go Off is good too.
Go Off as well. So I think that there's enough good songs on here, but I just feel like this was definitely not packaged the best it could be. I do have some stats for lyrics because I have some lyrics to highlight. Doja Cat is a very interesting rapper. I would say that she's in a unique spot just lyrically where she is.
Yeah.
Not many like her. But our favorite Twitter page, Hip Hop by the Numbers, did this lyrical breakdown, and there's a percentage for all the topics. That
sweet.
That Doja covers. We're gonna go in reverse order from the bottom to the top. 1.6%, Wet Vagina.
Okay.
Makes another appearance. 3.1%, Religion. 4.4%, The Devil.
Yeah.
24.8%, Self-Reflection.
Yep.
26.7%, Doja Success. 29.5%, Sex and Relationships. And 33.3%, Addressing Critics.
Okay.
I feel like that adds up to what I heard in terms of Addressing Critics being the number one, Sex being right there underneath, and then her Success after that. Anything stand out to you from that lyrical breakdown?
The fact that Wet Vagina is like a thing on that list, like it actually has like it's statistically significant.
Right beside Religion and The Devil.
That's just like a crazy sequence. But I do think that she spends a ton of time rapping about the haters, how people perceive her. But it's a lot, like 30-something%.
Highest percentage.
Yeah, that's insane. Like your music, and I think Charlie XCS fell into this trap a little bit too. It's like your music should not be a protest against the critics, bro. It's just doing that, you're losing the light and the darkness of what you're trying to do as an artist.
100%.
Because you're now facing backwards and like trying to reconcile whatever happened in the past versus trying to create new things. And I think that people like you and me, like on the grand scheme,
don't care.
It does. Yeah. It's like something that should not affect you as an artist. Like what you and I say currently is not going to affect whether or not somebody's going to buy your record or not.
Yeah, listen, we've talked crazy about plenty of records that we own.
Exactly.
that we own.
Or artists that we talk, like Drake has not gotten above us like a 6.5 from us.
Yeah. Right?
Drake's the most popular artist on planet Earth, next to like Taylor Swift and The Weeknd.
He doesn't need us.
Right? So this idea that she needs to look back and address like, oh, they said this or they said that, or they think I can't rap. It's like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You know what? I think after Yachty's album and him addressing it a few times, I've kind of turned the other corner on this because I think that I now understand why it makes an artist so upset, especially if you're an artist who makes good music.
Yeah.
There's some artists who your music is lukewarm in the first place. Different story. You got nothing to talk about. Go for it. If you're an artist who is a talented musician, does make good music, it must be frustrating for the main thing to be about something other than the music.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's self-inflicted for sure, and I think Doja Cat is part of that group. But I think, if you are a talented musician, for the conversation to so much not be about your art on a consistent basis has to be frustrating. And I think, Most Def has this quote where he said art and entertainment are not the same thing.
Right.
And art's over here, entertainment is over here. If you consider yourself an artist, that has to be, annoying. If you are more of an entertainer, go for it. It's say whatever you want. So I kind of do get that in a sense because Doja Cat, I don't know where she is now, but at one point we'll see her as more of an artist than an entertainer. I think, her perception has crossed over, but I feel like
like she's fed into that, actually.
No, she's definitely a part of it, for sure. But it is one of those things where it's like, even if it's self-inflicted, people are still going to be upset. So I do understand that in a sense. One of my lyrical highlights was from 97.
Okay.
In verse 1. And my thing when it comes to the lyrics on this album, Doja Cat, Scarlet, is that I was promised raps.
Yes.
I was promised a rap album. Bars. Now, there are definitely some clever lines in here. Now, on Gun, she's part where she goes, baby, I know how to use a gun. I can make that dick go gratata.
Yeah.
I hope that guy's getting a check for that. I don't know what he's up to right now, but I hope he's getting some, points on that one.
Make sure you visit your physician after every sexual activity.
Yeah. Crazy. So she has a lot of clever lines, and I think that's something that I've always known from Doja Cat her to have is like, it may not be the deepest lyrics, it's not J Electronica here, but there's always gonna be some clever bars that'll give you like a smirk or a laugh or make you think a little bit. Now in verse 197, she says, "Yeah, I ain't got no skeletons in my luxury walk-in. They ain't know I'm innocent, baby. Look who's talking. They ain't even ready spaghetti, baby. They sauceless. Speeding through the city, we medicated the horses. You can hit up PETA, the paint on me make me gorgeous. I'ma take the geese and the chinchilla coat on a walk. Don't forget the cheetah print. Speed up, come here and record it. If that shit ain't bleeding and screaming, I do not want it." That last part is absolutely
I'm scared.
Ludicrous.
I'm scared.
I don't know. PETA, I'm sure PETA has beef with every musician.
Yeah.
Almost. But that is like a direct shot at PETA, and this is kind of why I like Doja. When we talked about her on Soundbites a few months ago, I like the stand Doja's taking of saying what she wants, doing what she wants, because ultimately it doesn't matter. I think we're in an age where the backlash and the noise and the negativity can get so loud that we kind of lose sight of what's going on. I remember when Justin Bieber had his bit with alcohol and drugs, and it felt like everyone's coming down on him. And I said, God, let's not be fooled. Justin Bieber is still selling out.
Yeah.
Like the tour is still touring.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Money's still printing.
And people were like, nah, like they keep coming down to him. I'm like, this is just the media. What's actually happening on the outside is people are still crying when they see him. He's still selling out. And I think the same is going for Doja in a lot of ways of online. It seems like a lot of hate. But if you go outside, you got the fans painted in red, yelling, carrying on. It's going to
be interesting for concerts. People are gonna dress
have you seen people already been doing? Have you seen the videos?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, the day the album drops, people from cities all over the world were painting themselves in red and going outside. It was demonic. Yeah. But for her to end this whole section with the whole PETA thing and that last line, if that shit ain't bleeding and screaming, I do not want it. That's a crazy bar. Crazy bar. I'm sure other people feel that same way, but for you to say it like that so graphically, absolutely ludicrous. And then at the beginning, she says, I ain't got no skeletons in my luxury walk-in. I love that flex.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Subtle flex.
It's all been about, you know, her past and who she's dating, should she be canceled, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, for her to say, I ain't got nothing to hide in my closet. And by the way, my closet is a luxury walk-in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, that's such a nice touch on that. You know, it goes back to when LeBron at the end of that 2012 season was like, you know, you go back to your life and I go back to mine. You know, so I like when she sprinkles those things in there because that's a huge part of it. Most people who are talking crazy online in the comment sections on whatever platform would switch with Doja Cat in a second. Right. And so I like the kind of flex of, listen, my closet that I'm hiding stuff in is still bigger than your closet.
Right. Yeah, she is definitely making the references to money. I think that she is definitely in that space that I do appreciate about hip hop and rappers overall, where they're just at the point now where they are going to be talking whatever they feel like, right? I think that Tyler, the Creator, is probably my favorite example of that, where there is not a single thing that can be rapped that you wouldn't believe came from Tyler, the Creator's mouth. And I feel like Doja Cat is approaching that, right?
Yeah, she's not there yet.
She's not there yet. But there are definitely sequences where I feel like she mixes like it's like really slick rapping, and then she'll like jab these I don't want to say crazy, but these jarring bars, right? Where it's like on Agora Mills, right? Or sorry, Agora Hills, where she's like, I was taking a sip of root beer because love is pain, but I need this shit. We fuck too good when the beat kicks in, like Fortnite. I'ma need your skin. Don't give a fuck where the penis been. Boy, you're the one, you're the only man. Me and you on my OnlyFans. Holy cow, you're the holy trin. Hold me down when a whole knee dick. That's what I'm saying.
When a whole knee dick is crazy.
Like, it's going everywhere, okay? But that's what I'm saying. Slick lines like, you know, we fuck too good when the beat kicks in. I like Fortnite, I need your skin. Right?
Clever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a clever thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how many anybody are gonna be making a Fortnite line and it not sound bizarre. Right? She made it sound like it fit perfectly. It fits perfectly. It makes total sense. So that is like, don't give a fuck where the penis been. Boy, you're the only one. You're the only man. I just find it very funny that she said, don't give a fuck where the penis been. I feel like nobody says penis specifically in rap songs.
And to say it like that, it's like, I would love for that to become popular. Can we somehow popular people using that phrase? I don't care where the penis been.
Yeah, so I think that, that's what we're getting at. Is like, it's funny sometimes, it's slick at times, and there's the jarring lines. Like, that's her ability in raps, again, like akin to Tyler, the Creator, where it's like, you know, anything can come at any point, right? And she's really carving that out. I think that her sexual bars are really where she likes to like really stick it to people. We're like just coming up with weird lines, right? So I think that her ability to rap is on the level, right? Yes. I just think that she's trying a little bit too hard for it to be the A1 thing. Like, it doesn't.
You think so? You think she's trying too hard?
I think that she wants to be viewed as like a Lauryn Hill, fucking like I'm trying to think of like even a Nicki Minaj, Kendrick Lamar. Like, she wants to be recognized.
You think so?
That's what she keeps saying, though. That's what she keeps saying. And then when you have songs where it's like boom bap, she wasn't doing boom bap before. Right? Yeah. So I feel like she's really trying to get like, guys, I'm a rapper. Right? Where I'm like, it's not necessary. Like, you don't need to be in this space where like I'm making my rap music. Capital R rap music.
Yeah.
Right? Where like you don't need to be like that, because there are people that who are really good rappers, really great rappers. They are just making their music and the raps coming out onto the music.
Yeah, you're right. She hasn't figured out how to just rap well, no matter the production.
Exactly. right? Like I feel like this Agora Mills is Hills. I don't know why I keep saying Mills. Agora Hills is probably one of the best examples where I feel like this is the closest to a Planet Her song.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like a Planet. This would be more of if this was on Planet Her, it would be like a deep cut. It'd be song like 13 or something like that
on the deluxe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where we're still getting these cool taking a sip of root beer because my love is pain. I need that shit. All this type of like the raps are coming out, but it's part of your sound. Like I feel like she's reaching too far outside of herself to try to prove something. Whereas actually, if she just embraced herself, and maybe just turned the dial on the raps just a tad more, just to prove the point.
Yes,
I get it, but I think that outside of Agora Hills, where she's trying to do so much more, it's just not working in the sense that it doesn't produce actually good music, right? Like maybe the bars will be good, but the songs are actually not as good as you want them to be.
I think she has something here. I do really think that this could, like, you talking about she wants to be like a Lauryn Hill, Kendrick Lamar, like that kind of rapper.
Yeah, she wants to be viewed as that. I don't know if she wants to be that person, but viewed in that realm.
I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon, unfortunately. But I always think of her in comparison to somebody like Drake. Yeah, because Drake,
I agree,
is seen as a great rapper, is viewed, being one of the best lyricists. But his, lyrical moments that stand out are not, the gun bar where they flipped clips 10 times and, or where he referenced some civil rights leader we've never heard of. And only once you go down the Reddit rabbit hole do you understand. That's not Doja Cat style. She's more of the Drake style, where it's something that's very easy to understand, very simple. I don't care where your penis been. Or
she's got clever lines, though. She's clever and she's funny. And so she's more of a Ludacris.
Ludacris, I think, was even still more punchier. Yeah. And his delivery and his flow were more complex than anything that Doja was really doing. I think Doja is still very simple. She's not, lyrical miracle. That's never happening. That's not what she's into. She'll rap the pace she's gonna rap at. She's not gonna add too many entendres, but it'll be clear. Yeah. Very easy to understand. And so I think that, that kind of, high level rapper has a place in hip hop of being seen as a good rapper, So I think that you're right that she's come almost overcompensating in a way, because I think that how she raps and how she does her thing now can be viewed how she wants it to be viewed. And she doesn't have to alter it that much. Like you said, turn it up a little bit and people will get the point. Yeah. And so I think that that's something she's missing so far. On Can't Wait, in verse 2, Can't Wait is a song that I really sat with me a lot, because it reminds me of that 2008 to 2012 time when there was really that mix of like indie and underground and hip hop, and like they really came together. And you saw it where rappers were rapping on songs that weren't even necessarily rap songs production wise. Yes, I agree. And Can't Wait is maybe hip hop influence.
Remember when Childish Gambino was rapping on like Grizzly Bear?
Yeah, like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That era, like Royalty, Camp, like Can't Wait is definitely hip hop influence and maybe more hip hopified. But that production style right there could be a whole separate indie song that nobody raps over. Right. And this is that style again, where you're basically rapping over this song that's not necessarily sound like other rap songs. Now in verse 2, she says, "Not to be too much, but I'm always me around you. When you leave, I'm moving very awkwardly without you. I have never met a man who gets it like you do, precious as you are. You're cursing at your mirror, you're taking it too far. You need to see it clearer, I've seen it all before. Want to be there for you when the going gets hard, when you're feeling like the lowest thing that no one even wants. I want to write you poetry and jokes and even songs. Hope this lasts forever, or at least till we 100. Please know how much I want this." That is very earnest. I would say of all the verses we've heard about someone like wanting someone, wanting to be with someone and loving them, that is one of the ones that's very I feel coming from like a very honest place. Yeah. And I think when you think Doja Cat, we don't think of these very earnest, honest love songs and verses. I don't know. Am I missing something?
No, I agree.
We don't think of that with her. And you mentioned
there's
one
some on Hot Pink. There's a couple on Hot Pink.
But my point is she has these and does a great job of them.
Yeah.
Men or women in hip hop, this is not something we see done this good very often.
Yeah.
You know, Can't Wait, like, it's kind of why I brought up When Sparks Fly. Even almost a Tizo touchdown. I forgot his name. Damn, he has an amazing song featuring Tizo and Smino. It will come to me. But
Travis Scott?
No, you know, I'm gonna find it. Can't Get Over You. You know the song?
Can't get over you.
Can't West Side Boogie. There we go.
Okay.
I was going to call him something completely different. I did not want to do that.
Right.
But West Side Boogie does it a couple times as well. But this is just, you don't see this as often, where it's a whole verse about love, a song about love, and you know this whole verse is on topic. There's no, it's true. Like in hip hop, we see it all the time. Like the song is about love, and 4 bars in, they start singing about lean.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
can we please stay on topic?
you know, this is totally on topic, completely earnest.
Also, the singing, her singing, that style of singing that we were talking about earlier, works very well for a love song because it's dreamy, right? The vocals are very dreamy, very lush. So no matter what song that she makes, it'll always have like that dreamy aspect to it. But when you're doing like a love song, then it's just like, you know,
it fits more.
Yeah, it fits beautifully. Yeah. Right. So this is the singing. That's why I said the singing isolated in each song is really good.
It's the singing alone in a vacuum.
Yeah,
great.
It's actually really good. And this is one of those best examples of it.
Yeah. And what I think too, you mentioned it before about her being unique, and this is my last piece of lyrics. I think that what she has here on a song like Can't Wait, you know, I mentioned 2 other songs that are similar to this. Can't Get Over You by West Side Boogie. When Sparks Fly by Vince Staples. Done by men. I would say this song has an element that those songs just don't have. Yeah. West Side Boogie sings on his song, and so it's a little closer. But I think her singing plus rapping brings an element that in hip hop is just few and far between. Right. You know, like even Drake is not making a song like Can't Wait. You know, even though Drake is singing. So to me, I think there is something there that she has that's unique. And I don't know if I would have expected it at the beginning of this project for it to be these like sing rap love songs. Yeah. You know, to be like the thing I pulled from this. But I think about even her peers of women who rap. It's
making a song, not making a song. Like
Lil Sims is not even making this. No Name's not making this. Like none of them are making a song like this. Yeah. You know, and it's like the same way I said last week or 2 weeks ago, Sexy Red is for the, you know, the pajama girls in the tank top. There's a group of girls who this is for that they can't find this anywhere else. Yeah. And so even though it's kind of buried at the bottom of the album, not great sequencing, it's song 11.
See what I'm saying?
Out of 17.
The best songs are at the end.
A song like Can't Wait, every time I hear this song, I'm like, who else is doing this? You know, and maybe you put people together, some features, different vibe, but you know, her tone as a singer, what other rapper has a tone like that?
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right in highlighting the singing part of this, but I think a song like Can't Wait is one of the highlights of this project, especially lyrically, because the lyrics tell the story as well as the sonics. Yeah.
And I think on top of all of this, her hooks. I mean, I think we mentioned, well, actually we didn't do a review for Planet Her, because I think Drake came out the same. Somebody came out around the same time.
I think it was it Drake again?
I think it might have been Drake again.
No, it was, because we didn't do Planet Her, and we didn't have sound bites at that time.
Yeah. So I think that she's a hook master. Yes. Like actually though. Like I feel like every Doja Cat song you ever hear, the hook's gonna be fire. Like even on Shutcho, like, right? Yeah. Where she's just like, the hook is really just like, shut your goofy ass up. Like, it's shut your goofy ass up, but the singing vocals, it's like, what like in the background, that makes the entire fucking hook, bro. So those extra frills, again, the singing is really good, but just overall the hooks are just like, she knows when to make it simple. You know, she can make it more complex, whether or not it needs to be a sung hook or a rapped hook, you know, like Agora Hills. They're really simple, actually. If you really look at the lyrics for them, it's like, you know, I want to show you off. I want to brag about it. I want to tie the knot. I want to show you off. I want to show you off. I want to show you off. So she knows like when to make it super repetitive. Yeah. whether it's, you know, like she
has it all figured out.
Yeah, she got it all figured out. When it comes to the hook, she has every fucking tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
And she deploys them with aplomb, bro. She knows how to use it every single time. So I think that's another, just like, when it comes to like the lyrics, songwriting, just like the hooks are going to be good. Every song is going to have the hook where it'll always pull you in. Even for a song like Demons, where Demons, again, I want to stress, Demons is not good. Demons is not good. But I will say, when she is like, what is the hook for it right here?
How do my demons look?
Yeah, how do my demons look? You know, now these bitches shook. I'm a puppet. I'm a sheep. I'm a cash cow. I'm the fast and growing bitch on all your apps now, right? And then she's going further and further into, you know, things slap and all this type of stuff. So I think that she is able to like really get like these tightly woven sections of the song going every time.
Yeah.
Right? But if she ever asks me what are those one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Like,
what are those gonna live forever, man?
Okay.
It's sorry to say.
So that's a slight gripe as well.
Fair enough. In terms of how this affects her career, we've kind of been talking about it a lot. Over this whole project, or this whole podcast. But I think ultimately this is going to be a positive for her.
You think so?
I think that, you know, this is going to be one of those things in the long term. It's a positive because of these songs that we're talking about at the end of this that, you know, people are not used to from Doja Cat. I think in the immediate, it's going to look bad.
Yeah.
I think going half in your album sales after your biggest album does not look good. I think especially, you know, the Paint the Town Red, for sure, is still a big song, but I feel like that's kind of past its point. Demons as a single was little iffy. Attention, everyone liked a lot. And Agora Hills, I think, is gaining traction.
Yeah, that one's going to be big.
You know, very quickly. But I do think that what the internet has done a great job of course, everyone's focused on going viral, having songs on TikTok, having big radio singles, because those make way more money than streaming these days. But one thing streaming has done is allow people to find artists and songs they wouldn't find otherwise. And again, you know, Can't Wait, Austin, Agora Hills, Love Life. There's a playlist for all those songs. Where they're gonna live, you know, for a long, long time. You know, someone will get Can't Wait into their Cleo Soul playlist, and that will just, you know,
it'll just run.
You know, and that may be, you know, my thing is a lot of these songs may be the only Doja Cat song someone has in their playlist. And I think that is why I think this ultimately will be a plus, because for all the Planet Her fans, different. You know, you got Go Off, 97 maybe, Paint the Town Red, Shutcho, but your playlist is feeling like it's missing some Doja in it. But the songs in the second half, Doja's going to be in playlists she has never been in before.
That's true.
And I think that is going to hold a lot of weight, because that's where you get, you know, in the next album cycle or a year from now, people asking for more of that sound. You know, I think about when Drake did One Dance, and it's like we'd heard Drake, you know, dibble and dabble before, but after that, you know, and we ended up getting Passion Fruit and other songs of that ilk, it was like, okay, we know Drake can do this. We're cool to hear more of it. I think that's what she's headed for. So in the immediate, probably a L. But I do think in the long term, having these songs that, again, some people might never have a Doja Cat song in any of their playlists. And then now they might stumble upon Love Life, and all of a sudden it's on repeat.
And I would say that there's a little bit of a drawback to that, because as we see him with Drake, he's kind of, up until very recently, was losing control over his music. Like because he was like
Certified Lover Boy.
He was making so many different styles of music. It was getting impossible to contain it on a singular project, right? So while I do think Doja Cat can make lots of different styles of music, as we've seen on this album, it's a little bit dangerous when you're like, okay, now where do I go? Right? Before, we knew where we were going. We had 2 pop rap albums back to back. We knew exactly where we were going, right? And then we broke into this quote unquote rap album that isn't actually fully a rap album. It has a ton of different genres on it.
Not a rap album.
But now, so then the next step is like, okay, so which string do I actually pull on, right? Drake has struggled with that. Right? Doja Cat, We'll see, because I would say Doja Cat more erratic than Drake.
I think she'll be fine, man.
So I'm just gonna say we'll see.
You said it yourself. She's good with the hooks. I think I see that so much in the music of the comfort she has lyrically and even stylistically because she can write these great hooks. When it's like everyone knows the biggest songs, the hook is it. Sometimes don't even get to the verse when it plays outside. So she's always gonna have good hooks. Yeah. So she'll be able to do whatever she wants. You know.
Yeah, she'll be able to hook you in.
Hook you in exactly.
Right. Okay. So I think it's gonna be a plus. Let's say long term.
I have a feeling that we're just gonna say this is a no skips. Can we agree on that?
It is not a no skips, unfortunately.
Definitely not a no. Definitely.
You're skipping the second. If you skip the second song, it's not a no skips.
Yeah. Skipping the second song is crazy, crazy. Are you gonna be getting the vinyl?
No, I won't.
Yeah.
I won't be getting the vinyl, unfortunately. Even though I do like the cover, I think the cover looks cool. You don't like the well, some people are arachnophobic.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not arachnophobic, but like the cover is cool.
Yeah, the cover. I like the cover. I like the two spiders conjoined. I think it's like a cool concept. But I won't be getting the vinyl, unfortunately.
Yeah. Same for me. It's gonna be a no for the vinyl cop.
Yeah.
Especially 17 songs that I gotta skip a few.
Yeah.
I can't walk away from this record player. Like I'm gonna be sitting there all day.
Yeah.
So it's a no for me. The score. I want to hear where you're at with this.
So I was thinking about this on the drive here. The score, and I was like, and when I get to that stage, then I'm like, okay, so it's 5-ish to me.
Okay.
Right. And I think I'm gonna go with a 5.5.
5.5. Okay, that's not horrible.
It's all right. You know, like it's okay. Like I feel that there's missteps in the production, then there's missteps in the rapping, right? Demons is her worst song, right? And it's also the second song. So sequencing is also a problem. And it's 17 songs, almost an hour long. It's a little bit long, especially considering it's Doja Cat. No, just like considering she makes like her music is more poppy.
I know what you meant. But
I'm not trying to. I'm not gonna say she's trash. Or like
I know what you meant, but the way it sounded was kind of
like Doja Cat's music is more poppy, more hooky. It's sweet, right?
Yes.
But a lot of sweet eventually becomes saccharine, right? So I think that so there's like but then there's also it's sweet, you know. Like you got songs like Agora Hills, you got songs like 97, you got songs like Go Off, Shutcho, right? And then she's got like the neo soul type of. So a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. That's where I'm like, am I ever gonna listen to the album purposefully, like top to bottom? No.
Oh no.
But I will pick and choose. Like this is definitely a pick and choose type of album,
for sure.
And there's songs that I would definitely pick and choose from, right? Agora Hills, I'm telling you, that's probably one of her best songs. So. It's a 5.5. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I see potential, but it's kind of scatterbrain.
Yep.
I'm just like, it's a 5.5. How about you?
For me, Doja Cat, Scarlet is going to be a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I think this is a good album. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. There's a whole lot on here that I would skip. I think that is... Just as a full body of work, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I would say there's probably 10 out of 17 songs on here that I like. 10 out of 17 on here that I like, which is, about 58%.
Yeah.
Which is
6-ish.
Still a pass.
Yeah.
But I think that, so much in terms of the lead up to this project, the sequencing.
Yeah.
I think that having both singles as the first two songs is absolute craziness.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
I think regardless of what the first two singles were, having your two singles be the lead into the project, not a good move in my book. I think that the second half of the album is basically a whole different genre of music.
Yes.
And it is the better half of the project to me. And also there was no single that led to that. There was nothing no warning. So for me, it's a 6. I do think this album is gonna have an interesting shelf life.
Yeah, me too.
I can't wait to see how this is ranked at the end of the year and things like that, because I think a lot of albums from the big pop artists are judged on their singles.
Yeah.
And people may not know for months that Agora Hills, Can't Wait, Often even exist on this project. So interested to see how that goes, but I think 6 out of 10 is where, she's gonna live.
Yeah.
A little disappointed.
That's low for a Doja album because the past 2 ones have been really good.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in this project, but I think she's still in there. She's still in there.
Yeah, she's still in there. I haven't lost hope.
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have not lost hope. But this was like, we'll say, a trying time.
Yes.
For Doja Cat.
Mm-hmm.
And I want us to recover.
Yes.
And look at me saying us.
Right.
So I'm in.
Okay.
Just shape up, bro. We need to shape up.
I'm in. Just shape up.
Shape up. Okay. Don't make me. I'm out here walking around planning her in public. Okay. So don't make me regret this.
Don't make me look crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you everybody for tuning into Album Mode today. We're flying up the rankings. YouTube's, the Instagrams,
yes,
the TikToks,
yes,
all becoming more and more engaging. So thank everybody for listening.
Yeah, you guys know what to do. Leave us a rating and a review. 5 stars, not a single star less. Make sure you're subscribed on all your podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Of course, find us on the interwebs at Album Mode Pod on Twitter, at Album Mode Pod on Instagram, at Album Mode Pod on TikTok. And more importantly, if you want to see our beautiful black faces, head over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us at Album Mode. And of course, until next time, know yourself, know your worth.
Later, people.